degree in psychology, and yet most of my life I couldn't even answer the seemingly most simple question in this world, like, how am I really feeling? Or who am I? Really, what am I doing here? Like, what do I truly need? I had no idea, and I thought, if I want to be happy, I really have to answer all these questions, and I do need to know. And if you're thinking about the same, and you're also someone who's asking really deep questions and really wants to understand yourself and life, welcome to this video. And if you watched the previous 2 videos, you might remember that I was speaking about how I was building a business to help women transform their relationship with food and their bodies and create more peace. And yes, it's true, I could explain you all the theory with the beliefs about the nervous system, about all the trauma responses, about really name it. I could map everything out, and yet I still didn't know what I really wanted in my own life. So most tools I learned in psychology, they helped me to understand more, and at the same time it was my yoga practice that really actually helped me to do better and put this knowledge into action. It's like a bridge that changed my life. More on that later, and how you can also use these principles I will share to break free from your own bad habits, which might be overeating or something else, just your own patterns that are blocking you from uncovering your heart's desire and really living your purpose in this life, and living with a sense of meaning. So before I learned what I will share with you in a bit, I used to live in this constant state of anxiety that was coloring everything, you know. It's like the flash bulb that's dirty, that really can't radiate and shine and share all the light into the world when there are like some stains on it. And this is also what I felt like my anxiety that I had was doing, was really preventing me from sharing and shining my light and living my purpose. Like, the real Jenni was in there somewhere, but I couldn't really bring her online. And then I did something that some people, or most people, they would probably call it impulsive. In 2022, I moved with a one-way ticket to Mykonos for a date with someone I hadn't really known very well. And yeah, what happened next wasn't really the fairy tale, but instead, when the summer came on the party island Mykonos, there was a lot of noise and chaos and helicopters over my house and airplanes and the honking on the road and screaming. I was living in a tiny room together with my partner then, and not a lot of separation between working and sleeping and eating and all these things. Like, I was about to lose myself completely, especially as a highly sensitive person. This is insane. Maybe you can relate. And then in my desperation and being about to lose it and myself, I stumbled across something called yoga nidra, which I didn't really know what it was. I saw it on YouTube. I wasn't even practicing yoga, but the woman on the thumbnail, she looked so relaxed. I was like, damn, I need this. Can't be worse, just check it out. So I clicked on it, and I mean, this moment, it truly changed my life. So a few minutes in this thing called yoga nidra, I started feeling more relaxed, and I was like, ooh, this kind of feels nice. I haven't felt like this in a really long time, probably since my last holiday when I was a child. So please give me more of that. It's nice. So when I finished the practice, it was as if like I started my whole, like I rebooted my whole nervous system, like all the open tabs in my brain that were closed, and like everything was like calming down. Like the flashlight I mentioned earlier, was like I removed some of the dirt or anxiety, and what was left was a feeling of more lightness and peace, where I was like, wow, I want to feel this again. So the same week I signed up for yoga nidra teacher training, still not really knowing what it was or whatever. My heart said, let's go. My mind was like, hell no, but I had promised myself to follow my heart. So of course I signed up for this training, and it was there that I heard about this thing, Sankalpa, which is an intention that's born from our heart. Sometimes it's also called the purpose or the North Star or a vow to our own self. And one thing that I might not have fully shared yet is that many goals, they come from our mind or even our ego, and therefore from a place of compensation. We're trying to get something that we feel like we missed or that we lack, that we don't have yet. Meanwhile, the Sankalpa, it comes from the heart, like your true self. Some people, they also call it our essence, and therefore it's not used to just impress other people or fill some emptiness in our own self or all these things, but instead it comes from a place that already knows, without all the noise outside of us. And it's like a wise or innocent part of our own self that really no one can touch or take away from us, no matter the experiences and the trauma and the pain that we have lived through. There's a part inside of us that remains untouched and innocent and pure. And so yoga nidra, for example, we can reconnect to this part, reclaim it, and with that reclaim what some people call our purpose in this lifetime. So in my own journey, practice by practice, I started remembering a little bit more. It's not like, oh, I just did it once and then, well, I got enlightened and now I know all the answers and I can become Sadhguru. No, it's like something we practice, and step by step we might reconnect a little bit more, remember a little bit more. And this is also the beauty of it. It's like we give the mic back to our heart, which reminds us who we truly are, who we came here to be, like the real me, the real you. That's maybe underneath all the noise of conditioning where other people were like, you should be this in order to be loved, or you should achieve this and then you will be a better person, and all this BS that we learn, just going to remove like the flesh bulb that's being cleaned from all the dirt. And what remains is more and more of our essence, or our own beautiful true self that we can then share and shine our light from this place to others, which is very fulfilling also, and something I believe that courses, they can't really teach us, or books for example, also because this journey is so unique for each and every one of us. So even though they're like frameworks and all these things, I feel like it has to be applied for you and you and you, maybe in slightly different ways. So therefore also I really see my role now after studying psychology and yoga in helping women to really reconnect to their inner wisdom and their own self, not by telling them what they should do or who they are, but instead to create the safe space for their heart to start whispering and to hear their own voice, even with all the noise around them. Because clarity, it doesn't really come from outside of us, it comes from deep inside. And through resting more deeply into my own self, it's how my voice always resurfaces. And I feel like you can do this as well, even though we always think about the stuff we need to add. So why supplements in these things are so successful, and yet we underestimate the power of removing everything that's no longer serving us or that's not truly us. So maybe it's not about becoming someone else, but about unbecoming everything that you're not. And so in the first video, I told you about the bee when it stung me on the motorbike. and how this random moment had sent me into a whole rabbit hole of researching bees. And honestly, the more I learned about them, the more it kind of changed my life, which is also why I want to share this with you here. So bees, they have something called a waggle dance apparently. And why am I going to tell you this is because the scout bees who go out, when they come back to the hive, they perform this kind of dance, and like this they communicate to the other bees where the best food sources are. So the hive constantly influences where the bees are directing their attention and their energy. So it kind of tells them what matters and what to pursue, where to go. And this really hit me hard because in the first video I shared about something I want to come back to now, which is that I said if bees live in chaos, the hive cannot function properly. And then I think humans are pretty similar to that. Because if everyone around you is constantly dancing around status, money, hustle, all the external validation thingies, achievement, and this kind of stuff, it can get so easy to believe that these things, they should matter to you too. And you might just be, you know, taken by this big wave as well, without even asking, is this the wave I also want to surf on in this lifetime? And we humans, we're so easily influenced and we absorb so much from the people around us, not because we're weak, but it's just part of this human experience. This is also why I think so many people, they're so disconnected from their own self, because they're trying to build a life based on someone else's blueprint, you know, someone else's nervous system, someone else's values, and someone else's desires. But if we don't honor our own true nature and we just copy how other people live, or especially on social media, how they pretend to live and the success they showcase, we can easily burn out and feel so empty. And I noticed this also in my own life in the most unexpected way. So maybe it's not just about asking yourself, what do I want? But also about what hive am I living in? Like, what people are you surrounding yourself with? Because environment shapes identity so much. And if your hive or the people around you, they're constantly rewarding things that are draining your soul and that make you betray your own self, it becomes harder and harder to see and honor your own desires and your own heart. And this is not just about people who are in the same room here with you, but also the ones on social media that you see when you scroll, and the voices that fill your head when you're alone. For example, when you watch someone's Instagram story, it really impacts us so much. So maybe this is your sign to really look, who are you following, what you are consuming. Maybe there's some people you would like to unfollow or unmute because they're not bringing you closer to your own vision or what you want in life, or they're just not aligned with you anymore. So are you in a hive that's celebrating you and bringing you closer towards what you want? Or do the people around you make you feel behind and not enough, and like when you're playing small? So much about that. But then there's also another part of our hive. It's the one that we actually never chose because we were born into it, our beautiful family. And very often there are also like stories and beliefs passed on from generation to generation, what is possible or not possible, what success looks like, and what a good life looks like, what you're allowed to want and to have in this lifetime, and all these things. So also with your family, you're allowed to set a boundary, which I also did lately. It's not always easy, but when there are some people who can even be toxic or manipulative, and they want to see you small because your growth confronts them with their own, let's say, excuses and their own maybe regrets in life and all these things, it might not be healthy for you. And if you don't choose yourself and you don't put yourself first, no one else will. So you have the power to design or change the hive that you're living in, and make sure that you have people around you that want to see you grow, that want you to be true to your own self, and they want you to be happy and healthy. because otherwise it can be really detrimental. And I had also seen it in a client of mine who wanted to stop emotional eating, and whenever she was doing some things with her friends, they were encouraging her to like eat more sweets and chips and all these things, and there's nothing wrong with these foods and all the stuff, but if you have people and you say that you're full or that you want to make some changes and they don't respect it and they really pressure you to eat more of the things that they are eating, I feel like this can be a red flag, because at least for me it's important to have respect for each other's and honor each other's boundaries. So maybe just some things to be mindful and conscious around. So yes, your growth can make people around you feel uncomfortable, and yet it's your responsibility to still keep watering your own inner flowers in your own potential and to grow into your most beautiful and authentic and true self. And if you don't really know where to start, one thing I always find super helpful is to really listen to your body. When you're around certain people, like friends, family, whoever, does your body feel like open, expansive, and light? You might even forget time in those moments. Or do you feel very like contracted and almost like tense around certain people? I even got headaches in the past. So our body is always speaking to us and giving us very important clues. So to wrap up this video, number one, our hive or people around us, they're so important. They can really like make or break us and our success, so to speak. So choose them wisely. You've got the power. And number two is that even though our hive is important, what's more important is to make your own decisions at the end of the day, and to honor yourself and to honor your own heart, and to know that not everyone needs to understand. And I know it's tempting to ask other people or look on social media for all the answers outside of us, and yet I truly believe they're already inside. So all we need to do is to turn down the noise, to make sure we have aligned people around us, and to create the conditions where our heart can speak up and we actually listen to what it has to say, because deep down you probably already know, and if not, there's a lot of learning happening by doing rather than only by thinking. So I encourage you to go out there, try things, and it's okay also to look like a beginner and try things out. Even in mistakes, there's sacred lessons included that we can learn and grow from so much. So this is also what I would say about my life in Mykonos. Some people thought, did Jenni make a mistake by being impulsive and moving there? My point of view right now is that no, I firmly believe, because I followed also a spark in my own heart that made me come here, not a plan or not what other people said, because my best friends, and they were just saying don't do it, it's too dangerous because of this and this and this. And I'm very happy that I did listen to them back then, that I was stubborn, that I was honoring my own self. And even though it wasn't easy, it was hard, it still initiated me into this yoga journey and helped me to find yoga nidra, or for it to find me. So it's something my rational mind could have never ever designed. It's not a 5-year plan that I would have ever mapped out. It's way better than this. So I can tell you it's worth it to trust yourself, to trust life, to honor your heart. It always knows, even if the mind is like, what the heck's going on? It's okay. Your life doesn't have to make perfect sense, and we don't have to answer all the questions that I mentioned in the beginning. Like really, yoga, it guides us back home to our own self, and it helps us to uncover those questions, but it also gives us the permission to rest into the I am, that you don't have to be anything more than you are already. You don't have to do or achieve anything more than you have already. You are worthy and you are whole for who you are right now. And I believe true freedom comes from unbecoming everything that we are not. And liberating more and more of our true essence. So no matter how lost you might feel, know that there's a part of you that you can never truly lose. And it's never too late to remember and to reconnect. And now my brain is singing. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that my heart and my heart will go on and on. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to your heart. Nothing else you can do. I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know why. Listen to your heart. I think you got it.